Hey everyone, we're here with Mike from Metal Institute of Thrashology. If you don't know him, you should check him out. He's putting all kinds of good shit out there of bands you should check out. So Mike, again, dude, I appreciate you coming to hang out with me today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure. And I've been watching your stuff and it's great stuff. More people should watch your stuff too.
Yeah, you hear that? Watch
Yeah.
my stuff. Whatever. No. So what got you into music initially?
Well, growing up as a kid, my dad was a record collector. He collected 45s, but he wasn't into thrash at all. He liked blues and doo-wop. So that kind of got me into music. And then what got me into metal was Derek Riggs's artwork on Iron Maiden's album. And then I slowly got into Slayer and I went away to the service for a while and traveled the world and picked up little metal here, punk here. Here I am. I don't know, I'm in my 40s now, so been a metalhead for about 30 some years. Um, just love it. So I figured I started this thing last year. I wanted to do something to just help out bands, really. Something I enjoy and figured, it gives me something to do, healthy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's better than going out and doing crack.
For sure. You can even listen to music and do crack. You can do both at the same time.
You can. It doesn't translate real well on screen though.
Good point. Good point.
Like, hey, hold on. Dude,
Yeah. I watched a YouTube video at work today of some reverend smoking crack. They caught him. So like
oh,
if he can do it, why not anyone else,
dude,
right?
that's so wild. Who was
Yeah.
who was it? The mayor of DC was uh fucking smoking a bunch of crack too.
With male hookers. With male
Yeah,
hookers.
good stuff.
Yeah.
God, we're old.
Yeah, we are. So what got you into metal?
Oh, to make a short story long, I've told this story a couple of times, but my dad was a leather worker when I was a kid. And I,
Okay.
I was always super interested in music. Like my first concert was Michael Jackson on the Thriller tour.
Okay.
Um, and so my dad was doing leather work and he met some dude at the corner store that was the guy's name was Dean Battles. And Dean had the story I heard, and I don't know, he may have just been like mentally impaired, but the story I heard was he got hit by a semi and it caused him a lot of issues.
Sure.
But he was real slow. He didn't work, but he was real big into music. And he asked my dad to make you know, a fucking leather brace with spikes on it for him.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's cool. And he was like Iron Maiden, Metallica, Slayer, it was probably 80, had to be 84, 85, somewhere in that like range. I was 8 or 9, maybe seven, I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, and so I got into it, and as I got older, I got more into like underground, like local bands, and I was always drawn to them because there's really good local music and people don't fucking know about them.
What's local to you?
Volcandra.
I mean, like what city
Oh, I
or
live in Louisville.
fuck, you told me that. I don't even
Yeah,
know why I asked you that.
it's all right.
Yeah.
So I grew up in Detroit though.
Okay.
So I've been here off and on about 25 years now.
Sure.
So yeah, I don't know. Like again, Volcandra, they're like such a good like band from Louisville.
I'm
They just
writing it down.
Yeah, do that. They just put out a fucking new album last year. It's God, I'm sorry guys, I don't remember the fucking name of it. I've got it. Um, but it's so fucking good. It's like this mix of like blackened mellow death and thrash. It's fucking
I'll
great.
check it out. As soon as we like get off of this, I'll probably put it on.
Hell yeah. So what are you listening to right now?
On the way home from work, I found a band I recently did a video on I couldn't get enough of called She Hates Me Not. They're a thrash band out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I think like the youngest member is 14, and I think the oldest member is 18 or 19. And these dudes can shred like just I think I was messaging their dad I'm not sure, but he was saying that like they're like 14, 15, 16, but these dudes can rip. So I've been listening to them from Tulsa, but I was giving them from another band out of Texas called Nemesis. Uh, Man, those dudes rip too. So I
Oh
just
yeah.
really been listening to them a lot. And there's a couple bands out of Portugal. One's coming up called Destroyers of All. And they're like a mix of thrash and death. They got a new album coming out, I think in April, and it's gonna be brutal. It's just fucking great shit.
Hell yeah. Have you heard that new Sacrifice record yet?
I think I did, but I didn't listen to it enough to recall it. Like I have memory issues. Like I was in a car accident. It's what started this whole thing. But
Gotcha.
I have memory issues, so like I'm more visual than I am. Like if I saw the album cover, I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I know that."
Yeah.
But
Well, do you get a lot of like before it's released stuff?
a little bit, but the problem with me is like last year I got to like June or July and then I was like chasing new releases and then I found so much from like the last 10 years that
Oh
I just
yeah.
kind of went down that hole and I started like dabbling in like different countries and like in different sounds I wasn't used to, like some Arabic stuff and just like some different stuff that was so diverse, you know?
Yeah, that's it's really fun to go down the rabbit hole because you're like, oh, I didn't even think that would work here, but it really fucking does, you know?
Yeah, some Russian band got me hooked. They're called Scarecrow, and they like every album was like a different sound, but they incorporated like a lot. It was like Led Zeppelin with Arabic like scales, and
Oh
it was
shit.
just it was really really good. And they have like 3 or 4 albums they put out. They're not even really like metal; they're more like rock, but they're just really really good.
That's
This
cool.
started as a thrash channel, but next thing you know, like I'm getting into everything.
Yeah, well, that was, I think that's always the thing. Like I'm just gonna do this and be hyper focused, and then you hear something and it's like, no, I've really got to fucking do something about that because that's good, you know?
Yeah. I just started dabbling into like doom and stoner rock. I covered a festival in October here in Pittsburgh from like it's called Descendants of Crom, and
Yeah.
it's like a regional thing from like all the doom and stoner bands. And it was my first time going. I saw all these killer bands and just had so much fun and such a great community. So I've been kind of going into doom and a little bit more than I thought I would.
Yeah. Well, you had some really good bands at that festival. I actually almost ended up there because a couple of my favorites were on that bill. Blessed Black, who like I love those dudes from, they're of course Cincinnati based, but nicest people in the world,
Yeah,
and
they
the
are.
fucking music is just everyone's like, how do you describe it? I'm like, it's just really good fucking rock and roll, dude. Like,
I would, yeah, I would consider them like a southern, like I always call it like a southern bluesy rock. That's what, it's just, I can't remember their frontman's name, but
Murphy.
he had so much soul.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
man, such a,
he fucking does. Like they were playing, so I think Fairy Ring played that too.
yeah, back to back.
So first time I saw Blessed Black, I went to Dayton to go see Fairy Ring.
Okay.
And I knew Murphy from Blessed Black, and I was like, cool, his band's playing too. Like, I'll go check him out. And I saw him and I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
Like, dude, so good. I connected those dudes with a buddy of mine, and their vinyl. He's putting out their fucking shit on vinyl. So I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, so I messaged them before the band, before the festival, and I was like, "Dude, save me a vinyl. I just want one copy." And then like they said they came in like a day later. They
Yeah,
ended up getting it in the next city, so I was like, "Ah," but I'll have to go catch them again for sure. Those
for
guys are
sure.
great.
They're
Yeah,
super good. Fairy Ring, of course, those dudes fucking jam. Um, but
great, man.
oh yeah,
I think there was like I don't remember how many bands were on the Descendants of Crom over like 2 days. I think it was maybe like 15 bands. There wasn't a bad I wouldn't even go as far to say there wasn't even a bad song. Like every band, every song just killed it.
that's
The
awesome.
the girl who puts it on, I don't know if you know Shy Kennedy.
Mm-mm.
She's like the high priestess of Pittsburgh metal, and she organizes it and does it all for the bands and like does all the press herself. She's in Funerals, which is a Pittsburgh band, and man, she really put together like a good package. I can't wait to catch next year's, you
Hell
know?
yeah. Well, and you guys had spotlights on Saturday night. Like that's another one. Like this is gonna sound so fucking ridiculous. First time I saw spotlights was 2016 with Deftones and Refused.
Ooh.
But
I love Refused.
oh,
Love.
dude, it was a great show from start to finish. Huge. I'm a big Deftones guy too. Like
Yeah.
Deftones is like our family band. You know,
Okay.
if they come, the whole family gets in the car and off we go.
Yep.
Um, Kids fucking love it, enjoy it. But so we went to the show, saw spotlights, then they played. So we saw that in Detroit. Then we caught them down here playing with Melvins. I don't, I'll be honest, I don't even know how many times I've seen spotlights, but when they did the West Coast run with Melvins and Mr. Bungle,
Okay.
I fucking flew out for that because I was not gonna miss that.
Yeah.
That's dude, love those dudes too. Like again, just more people they're so nice and uh they've got their hands in so many projects.
Yeah.
Like Chris the drummer's and I feel like he's in fucking 17 bands. He plays in like Orange 9mm.
Oh, I didn't
Uh
know he was in that.
yeah, I think
I'm
he
a
just
big Orange 9mm guy. I love them.
well, I think he just started just joined last year, the year before, with their like reinvigoration. Um God, what else is he in? Light Tower, Julie Christmas. Oh, there. Honestly, it's like six or seven fucking bands that he plays in, dude. But he's a killer fucking drummer too.
Yeah, their set was great. Like I didn't know like I was listening to him. I listened to him right before I went out there, and that was like my like introduction. And I didn't know how it would translate live because it seemed like there was a lot of like atmospherics and like shoegazy type stuff.
Yep.
But once they started performing, I was like, they commanded that stage and like it was definitely a great set. They were I think they closed out the show.
Yeah,
They
I think
closed
so
out
too.
Saturday night. Yeah, yeah. And
I
man, great day.
yeah, dude, I was so close to fucking flying up for it. I was like, I'll fly up, dude. I'll stay for the weekend, but like work shit popped up. So like, I guess I
Yeah.
won't.
Well, there's always next year's or this year's, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. It's so weird to say that. Like,
Yeah. It flew.
fuck yeah, dude. What other like shows did you hit this year that were like just killer shows?
I think my best show, my favorite set, I saw a lot of shows last year, but I saw Enforced. It
Was
was
that
in
with Frozen Soul, Creeping Death, and Gates to Hell?
Yeah, it was. And Enforced were like my bucket list. I really wanted to I can't get enough. They're quickly becoming my one of my favorite bands.
So funny. I was literally just jamming out to their new EP right before you got on.
I was just listening to it before I was listening to it at work today, and then I threw on She Hates Me Not to Come Home. And just because I don't know, man, young kids they need more love, you know?
Yeah,
More
well,
exposure.
I think they've got a lot of love, but you're right, like
Yeah.
you remember when Silverchair came out,
Yeah.
they were what 15, 14 when that shit happened.
Yeah. Frog Stomp.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
what a great album that was.
That was. So that was a good set. I just saw Exodus a couple weeks ago. Um, that was a great set too. They came with Dead Heat.
Mhm.
Dead Heat put on a good show. Candy, I don't know if you know Candy.
Mm-mm.
They call themselves hardcore, but it's like that hardcore that has like electronica
Okay.
like mixed into it. And like their lead singer had no voice. Like he lost everything. He left it all on the stage though. He gave everything he had. And then um, Havoc was pretty good too. I saw Temple the Fuzzwitch twice. They were pretty good too.
Yeah, I love those dudes too.
Yeah, there's a lot of fucking shows last year. My wife is just she already started on me because I'm getting out the lineup for this year. You're not counting all of them. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Yeah. So we'll see what this year holds, but I'm just having fun, you know? Just trying to
Yeah.
enjoy life.
Well, dude, it's so short. We've really got to, and I think metal, music is my escape too. Like I go same thing, right? Like I don't even what I guess I saw Temple of the Fuzzwitch two or three or four times. I actually went to see High on Fire in Detroit, and Joe, the fucking bass player from Temple of the Fuzzwitch, I ran into him there. I'm like, hey, he's like, fuck you doing here? I'm like, like I'm here
I
for the
on
show.
fire. Yeah.
Duh. Which is
Yeah.
funny. Temple fucking they played a set, I don't know, maybe like 40 minutes or an hour away from where High on Fire was playing. The other guys stayed at where they played, and fucking Joe beelined for the show.
I would have too.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, High on Fire is killer. They don't come like it seems like the last couple of years we haven't been getting too many good shows in Pittsburgh. So I
Yeah,
don't.
but like I think Pittsburgh's still a relatively close drive to a lot of cities around. So if they don't hit your city itself, it's you
Yeah.
can make that trip. I mean, you guys, how far are you from Philly? 3 hours?
Philly, I think, is like 4 or 5.
Oh shit.
But we go to I've driven to like Baltimore to see like Merciful Fate, and that's like 3. What is it? Silver Spring, Maryland. I guess it's like between Baltimore and DC.
Yeah.
And we've driven to like Cleveland or Youngstown. Those are like 2 hours. Youngstown's like an hour and a half,
Okay.
but it's not bad.
No, not
There's
at
like
all.
a couple of us who like, carpool or whatever. Whole gang gets together.
I got a fucking buddy in Cleveland. He actually just hit me up today. He's like, "Hey, are you coming up? Nile and 6 Feet Under and Psycroptic are playing tonight." He's like, "You
Okay.
you coming up?" I'm like, "No, dude, I can't. Like, I got shit to do at home today."
I
He's like,
think was it last night they played Pittsburgh? Maybe.
"Uh, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I was gonna look. They
Yeah, I
they
guess you
did
don't
just
fucking live in Pittsburgh. Why would you know that?
well, they just did a bunch of fucking Northeast shit. Like of course, New York, Boston, or Worcester or whatever.
Yeah.
But they're doing all that. Yeah, and they're in Cleveland tonight.
Yeah. Are you going?
No,
Oh,
no,
I'm not.
no, not tonight. That'd be 5 hour drive.
Okay.
Well, I caught night one of that tour in Nashville a couple weeks ago. Man, it was fucking great.
Oh, I bet.
Dude, Chris sounds better than I think he sounded in a lot of years.
I saw it. It had to be either last night or like a couple nights ago because a dude I follow on Instagram, he went to the show. But my kids, like, I have 2 kids and it's hard, like, shuttling them. So I ended up skipping it. But he just posted pictures with Chris. So I was like, and Chris looked really good too, like, really healthy.
He looks old.
Yeah, but he looks like a good old, not like you see some of these like metal guys turning old and you're like, man, you look 20 years older than you really are.
Yeah.
But some of them have like the fountain of youth. I thought Chris looked really good for his age. I don't
Yeah. Uh,
I expected worse.
I mean, I guess, but he's like, he sobered up a couple of years ago. So like no drinking, no smoking weed, nothing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Like we talked to him at the Nashville show. We caught him on our way out and it was just like, hey dude, like you sounded really fucking good tonight. Like you guys crushed. And he's like, you liked it? Yeah, we did. He's like, fuck, that's cool. He's like, I've been working really fucking hard to get back out on the road. I'm like, well, it shows, man. Like,
Yeah.
keep kicking ass.
Hell yeah.
I'm sure it's part of that is probably hearing all the shit talking about him over the years.
Yeah, and it's sort of like he's like one of those figures that just it's like he's a magnet for like people's hatred. And like even if he doesn't do anything, it just seems like it's still attracted to him for no reason. He's like the Lars Ulrich of death metal.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
fucking perfect way to describe it.
That's so funny. I just
But
fucking dude, Lars gets so much shit too.
I can't stand his drumming. I think he's terrible.
Dude, if he wasn't the drummer, Metallica wouldn't be what it is today.
I'll agree with you. I think Lars is a far better business person than he is a drummer. I think he's like his intelligence, I think he's extremely smart. I just don't like him as a drummer. I don't know why. Like I couldn't be like, "Oh, this one song he sucks on." I'm just like as soon as I hear him I'm like, "Oh, it's Lars, it's terrible. I don't want to hear it."
That's that's fucked. I, you know, I
Yeah.
I like Lars. I like Lars for what he is. Like,
Yeah.
I think I think a lot of people, compare him to like I don't want to say traditional drummers, but drummers that play on time, and that is not Lars at all. He doesn't play on time. He plays to fit what James is playing, right? And that's all he does. Like I'm sure if someone sat down and said, "Here's a metronome, play four
Yeah.
four," he would be all over the fucking place. There was one interview where he said he was like, "I don't really practice." Like,
That's the problem, Lars.
like shit.
But then
Now,
you see the videos with like Dave Lombardo or Joey Jordison back there, and you're like, fuck, if Metallica had a killer drummer, they would have been bigger than Michael Jackson.
no, they
But
wouldn't have.
no, they wouldn't have.
No.
But you can say it.
You can, we can always dream, but again, I think, but I always look at a band as like the sum of all the parts,
Yeah.
right? And you can see like the transformation with Metallica when they had a member change, right?
Yeah.
Like Kill 'Em All was essentially Dave Mustaine era,
Right.
right? Losing Dave, they went right into Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets, and Justice. Of course, between Master and Justice, they lost uh, Cliff. So then, right, Justice has a different feel, and then
Sure.
they let Jason start to have his, like not really do anything in the band, but then came the Black Album,
Yeah.
so the different eras always had James, always had Lars.
Yeah. Yeah. I I think with Metallica, the Black Album as a kid did it for me. I remember my buddy gave me Injustice for All, and I was like, oh, this is I really liked one at the time, and there was a couple other songs I really liked. And I was like, but it felt like something was missing, which like now that I'm later in life, you're like, it's the bass.
Yeah,
But like I remember like when I heard it, I was like, this is like I kept calling it flat. And my buddy's like, it's not flat because like I'm not a music. I don't understand theory. And I'd be like, it just doesn't sound flat. And then like when the Black Album came out, like we have a radio station in Pittsburgh that just plays it constantly. Like they have it's called Mandatory Metallica. They play it multiple times a
yeah,
day. So I just got like burnt out on Metallica. And then like the high school I went to, that's all they played. And then I went to the service. Everybody was listening to Metallica. So I recently revisited Ride the Lightning. I probably haven't listened to Metallica in like 15 years. And I went back and I listened to Ride the Lightning and I was like, all right, this is a good album. I can listen to this.
yeah,
I went back to some of the other ones and I was like, not as good as I remember. But
yeah.
I think like when Cliff died, I think no band, I think 99% of the bands couldn't have continued. And I think for them to like still put out that kind of quality after losing Cliff and Dave, I think that was like two key components they lost. Like I'm just impressed that they were able to even continue.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, right? Like it is
Yeah.
it's really impressive that they were like, you know what, we're gonna buckle up and move forward with everything. Um, those losses, you know, Dave, I'm sure at the time no one had any idea that Dave was gonna be, who he is. I mean, fuck, Metallica started out as essentially two of the biggest like thrash bands, half of the big four,
Yeah.
which is fucking wild to think about. And, couple that with Cliff, like holy shit,
Yeah.
Cliff on his own, just on his own is you could hear the influence on how they fucking wrote Ride and Master.
Yeah.
Both those albums, like my those three, Ride, Master, and then Justice, are like those are my three favorite Metallica albums because they're so orchestral, you know.
Yeah.
You hear them in Ride and Master, and then Justice is so fucking dark. Like,
Yeah.
ugh.
I think Cliff too was like a virtuoso bass player too.
Yeah.
So like just losing his skill set. And then I always think about it now, like, because I'm awfully critical, especially if you're the biggest band, like in thrash. It's easy for me to be like, oh, you guys suck. But they were kids out on the road in a foreign country in a bad accident. One of their best friends just died. And then you still have to just put on a face, keep plugging away, just keep churning out music because people's paychecks depended on it. Like, that's a lot of shit to dump on some 20-year-old kids, you know?
Yeah.
And then to pull off Injustice for All, like with a new bassist, all this turmoil. Like, man, it's just impressive to me that they did it. But Lars still sucks at drumming, though. Nah,
I'm gonna
I love you, Lars.
I'm gonna tag Lars. Lars sucks. He's gonna
I
be
don't
like,
even know, like, I just don't like his. There's certain drummers I just don't like, I think. And I just, maybe it's because, like you said, he's off the time. And maybe it's just like, I don't like his. I
well,
don't, yeah,
I'm not gonna say he's off time. What I'm gonna say is he plays to fit the song,
that's
right?
what I meant. Yeah.
And it's like if he
Not
was off
playing.
time, it if off time is like you're not fitting the song. You're just like, eh, do.
Yeah. I guess like the easier way to say it would have been like he's not meeting the time, like not fixated on the time signature.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But I think that might be what bothers me. Maybe.
could be.
I don't like Kirk Hammett's guitar playing either. I'm a Gary Holt guy.
Fuck you, Metallica. Just fuck you. No, no.
But I don't know, man. Like sometimes like you'll hear Kirk Hammett and I'm like, man, that's phenomenal. And then I'll hear like the next riff and I'm like, what is that? Like, why would you even put that on an album?
Yeah, I wonder that a lot. Like some of those solos, especially in the like through the 2000s, you're like,
Yeah.
what are you thinking?
Were you just being lazy? Like, or like, I don't know. Maybe like, I wonder like if baseball players have like slumps. I'm sure musicians probably do too. I don't
Sure.
know. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure.
I suck consistently. Like, I don't have slumps.
I just always suck.
Fuck yeah. I just started playing guitar. I have to suck.
That's great.
Yeah.
So, you mentioned Gary Holt, you mentioned Exodus. What do you think about, like Rob Duke's coming back?
All right. So Exodus is like my secret love. They're not secret at all. I absolutely love Exodus. I think, I think each singer was different, but I personally prefer Rob Dukes. And I think I prefer Dukes because on those albums, Gary Holt's tone seemed more aggressive to me. And also, I think bringing Lee Altus in versus Rick, Lee is more complimentary, where I thought Rick was more like not dissonant, but not complimentary, but conflicting. Like they had like different styles, whereas Lee and Gary more complement each other.
Yeah,
And I think like with Dukes, it seems like the lyrics were just ruthless. Like I like that. But just seeing Zetro a couple weeks ago, and you're like, that dude's still on top of his game. He makes sure he looks at every audience member to make them feel like they're legends, you know?
for
So like
sure.
I think Exodus could put up like they could just play instrumentals and I'd be like, yeah, I'm fucking cool. Like whatever. Like
Then they crush instrumentally. Like that was
yeah.
um God. I saw him 3 times this year.
Okay.
3 times? I don't know. I don't remember how many times they played on the boat, but I caught every
Okay.
one of their shows on the boat, and they were fucking they were great. To see the crowd react. And one of my favorites was Mike DeLeon and Mike Leon from Soulfly. We're both, we're all in the fucking crowd, and Mike I say DeLeon, but it's De Leon. So
Right.
sorry, Mike. He fucking sticks his Crocs into 4-wheel drive and fucking goes out and gets in the pit and doing the circle
Incroc.
pit. It was great.
I saw them a couple weeks ago, and Lee, I don't remember what song it was, but Lee was playing, and then Havoc's front man, David Sanchez, was in the pit, and he was just running around. And he held up a beer, so Lee held his hand up, and David threw from the pit like a can of beer. Lee caught it, kept drinking while playing a solo. You're like, yeah, this is how it should be, you know. This
That's
is
just
why
rock and
they're
roll.
fucking legends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, shit, you've been doing it fucking almost 40 years.
What's your opinion on the lead singer?
Like I like both eras.
Yeah.
I like Steve, I like Rob. I've seen them both. Um, I do, I personally don't have a preference. I go to the show for a good show, and I feel like they both
Yeah.
always put on a good show. I do think that Steve is a little more in tune with the audience, whereas Rob's a little more in tune with the band itself. And
Yeah.
that's where the difference is. But they're both fucking great. Like I think Steve did a great job. Uh, a lot of people pissed off that, of course, they're like, "Yep, Steve's out, Rob's in." They're like, "Fuck Rob" or "fuck Steve" or whatever, and it's like, hold on, you don't really have to fuck anyone. You know,
Yeah.
they're both good, and if you don't like that person, don't say fuck you. Just like, hey,
Just
cool,
don't listen. Yeah.
yeah, good luck, see you, whatever.
Yeah. I'm sure it was an amicable split, but I'm curious to see why, like why they swapped. Because I know they're getting ready to go in the studio. And I just filmed like 4 hours, but it was locked into the TikTok ban for a while. I was working on an Exodus ranking where I was going through but I did all the history. I went through like all these interviews and like researched. So I noticed that they swapped out Dukes right before Blood In, Blood Out in the same manner. So
Yeah.
it's sort of like I hope there's no drama because like you kind of want everybody to just be happy and cool, you know?
Yeah, well, for sure, because there needs to always be the option to bring Zetro back. Um,
Yeah.
you know, my opinion, and I have no insight whatsoever, but I feel like uh, Steve might be going to do some more stuff with Hatriot.
That's what I was thinking.
Like I talked to him on the boat, and he was like, "Need to get more stuff for Hatriot." Like that was his push. And I'm like, okay, right. That's literally the only reason why I think that. But I would not be surprised if Hatred had some new music coming out with Steve singing.
I think that would be great. Those guys are on fire. I missed them last year. They were like 3 hours away, and I missed it. But I would be stoked to see those guys with Steve. I'd be
Yeah.
stoked to see them on their own. And I like Hatred a lot.
Yeah, me too.
It'd be cool, like if he goes back there, and then you'd have two kick-ass bands. Like,
Right.
not that Patriots not kick-ass without him, but I mean that would only add to the.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It'd be cool. Of course, with this fucking kids in Hatred, I think it.
What if they fucking did like an Exodus Hatriot fucking tour, and you could even throw like Steve Brogdon's band on there, nuke 'em, maybe some Testament or whatever, you know?
That'd be wild.
I have all these like fucking ideas, but they'll never like form out the shit.
No, no, I'm the same way. I'm a
Yeah.
fucking idea man. They never go anywhere, but I sure have a lot of them.
Yeah, I'll make lists of them and then fucking nothing ever happens.
Yeah.
I even thought like I posted on Instagram, like, what if they did like a Dukes and Zetro like fucking duet tour, like Sonny and Cher, the
I think
Dukes
that
and
would be cool
Zetro.
as fuck if like they did like half set with Dukes, half a set with fucking Zetro. Like how how
Yeah.
have an extra long set because I feel like the band could handle that. Um,
Even throw like Rick in there too, you know? Like that's what I was like, man, fucking Maiden got three guitars, why not Exodus, you know?
right? Yeah.
Like I mean all three of those guys can shred too, so like I'd take it.
Yeah, I guess it just depends, right? Because obviously when members switch and when they're coming in and out, we don't know the story behind it, and we always hope there's no drama, but at the end of the day, I feel like sometimes there's going to be a little.
There has to be. I
Yeah,
mean, even with my like your best friend, your brother, or whatever, you know, just be around them long enough, there's gonna be disagreements, you know.
for sure. They said who was it? I read an article that was like, um, what did they say when Chuck Billy took over management, right? That's
Yeah.
when Zetro came back, and now Gary's back, and they say that Gary has control. And again, I have no fucking clue. I don't know anything going on inside the camp. I just see this these people posting bullshit all over the place, and it's like, could it be?
Yeah.
Sure.
I try not to post bullshit because
Yeah,
like just further in the rumor mill, like nobody really knows.
right. That's the fucking truth. So, are you a Slayer guy?
Mm,
Not so
yes,
much. You
I'd say
kind
yes,
of. Okay.
but I'd say Slayer, like old Slayer,
Yeah.
I think like out of the newer CDs, I did like Repentless, and I did like what's the one
What?
with Disciple on it? God hates us all.
That is it. That's
Is that what
exactly
it's
it.
called?
Yeah.
I can picture the album cover. It has like the crosses.
Yeah, it came out it came out
9/11.
September 1st, 2001. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that was the last one I liked, just because I only like that one song off of it, that Disciple.
Disciple.
I can't remember any of the other ones. But like I was really into Slayer when I was young, like like in my teens.
Me too.
Uh, I think everything from like Divine Intervention and earlier was
Okay.
like that's when I was really young and I was like we used to, there was a guy, he was an older punk rocker. He was probably like in his 20s, but we were only like 13. And we'd go hang out at the record shop. And it was like National Record Mart. But since he was a punk, he'd be like, fuck corporations. And he'd like give us a bunch of CDs that we were like theoretically stealing now that I'm old enough to realize. But I'd be like, oh, cool, man. Look, mom, he gave me 15 CDs. And she was like, I don't think that's right. And you're like, oh, it's all good, mom.
Full. He gave them to me. It's fine.
And that's how I got into punk rock. I grew up on metal. I got into punk for maybe like 5 or 10 years, and then I went back to metal.
Okay. So who who in the punk realm do you enjoy?
Everything from like the Roots to maybe like late 90s. Like
Okay.
anything in there. Like anything from like Exploited, Husker Du, Rancid,
Black Flag, Bad
Black
Religion,
Flag,
No
Minor
Effects.
Threat, Anti Nowhere League, Bad
Yeah.
Brains. I mean, but then I started getting into like, I got into some ska too. Like I fucked around with that for a little bit, like the Bouncing Souls, like stuff like that. And then like, because I think at that time I was just getting out of the Marines and I was really poor. So I didn't have like access to like internet and stuff then. So like it was harder to discover music. And I lost all my friends from the Marines. We all moved to other parts of the country, so like we didn't really like stay in touch that much. And then like once we started like reconnecting, like I reconnected with my best friend for Slayer's retirement show, so like I always have a warm spot for that. And
Hell yeah.
but then that's where you start meeting like, oh hey man, I live in DC and this is our local band, and that's how like we started spreading again. And
That's
now that guy that my best friend died, so now I'm trying to do that with all over the world with people. And that's my goal, just to spread music.
yeah, that's fucked. Sorry your best friend died and you deal with
Yeah,
that shit. Like,
yeah, it's cool, man. Like like I moved on,
yeah.
like or like let go or whatever. But like I still got his memory and like some kick-ass tunes. And he still has a lot of my fucking CDs. I don't know where they're at, motherfucker. But he has one CD, man. It was at the band's called As Hope Dies. They put out two CDs. They're from California, like some fucking killer metal, man. And he has the CD, and like his wife lives in DC now. She told me next time I go there, I can get it, but
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna drive 4 hours just for one CD.
Eh, make a weekend out of it. Honey, we're gonna
Yeah,
go do something in DC. Okay.
yeah, and hang out with her, maybe
Yeah.
take her out to dinner or something.
Yeah, be good. I'm sure she'd appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah.
I got that same thing. My little brother passed in 2019, and I'm like,
Sorry to hear that.
that like the only thing I can think is like he was in a real bad spot one time, and he's like, dude, I really need money. And I was like, you know what, man, like this is how much I love you. Take all of my music and do what you can. And it was, you know, I don't know, 400 or 500 CDs, a bunch of records, and he's like, I'll have them back next week. And I'm like, no, you won't. But I know
Yeah.
there was some really good fucking music in those CDs too.
But now, like, now you can stream them, and theoretically, the band
Oh,
got paid on it. You don't stream?
no, I stream, but like a lot of the music that I had,
Sure. underground.
Yeah, like it was we did a lot of like tape trading and CD mixing and shit like that. So, there were a lot of those mixed in there, but shit, there are bands that they only put out like 10 copies of the fucking CD, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, fuck.
Yeah.
So it goes, right?
Yeah. I got stacks and stacks of CDs over there. I don't even have a CD player. I just do vinyl now. I have stacks of vinyl that I haven't even opened. I
Uh,
guys got like half my vinyl's not even open. I just buy it to support the band at the show, but
Me
I
too.
prefer like the lossless quality of Apple. So I just buy it and stick
I
it on a
I
shelf.
prefer the quality of a record. Um, I stream like a motherfucker because my day is constant go, and I
Yeah.
it's really hard to take a record player with you everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you catalog all your records
Like catalog them in like a computer?
on like Discogs or something?
Nah. I just I'll be honest, I'll buy it at a show and then there's a stack over there from like the last, I don't know, 3 months. And like I come home from the show, I put it on the stack, and then I go upstairs and take a shower. And then I haven't touched a record from that stack in probably like 6 months.
Oh fuck.
But like there's certain records like Enforced War Remains. Those dudes were awesome enough. Dude, as soon as I got that, I think it was on my record player for like 6 months. I don't even know if I flipped it. Like I just played side one over and over. I
That's
could play
good
like
shit.
their first song called Aggressive Menace on that album. If that was the only fucking song on that CD and they played it like fucking 8 times in a row, I'd still buy it. Like it's that good. So
That's
maybe
good
every
shit.
once in a while I'll take a vinyl, you know?
Yeah. I try to do a vinyl a day
Yeah.
where I do catalog mine because I I went to Walmart the other day and they had a new stack of vinyl and I'm like, oh, I wonder if I have this. So I had to fucking pull it up and like look and
Yeah.
scan and they're like, yep, you have that one. Like, cool. I guess I'll have to listen to that so I remember it. Um, I
Some
did.
of some of them though, like when I did this Exodus thing, like I have a bunch of like different Exodus records. So like I'll listen to it on a record, then I'll stream it, and then I'll listen to it both ways through headphones and then through speakers. And then if I'm still not sure about it, I'll listen to it in my car too. So I get three different sounds. And like that way I feel like I'm one of those guys who can't ever finalize. So I'm like I'll film some shit and then I'll be like, oh, I don't know. I think this now changed.
Yeah,
I'm working on this Exodus one for like 8 months. Like
just pull the trigger on it.
well, I did. So finally I was like, fuck it. And I started editing down in CapCut. And then they banned that TikTok and it was locked in there. But I had like overlays and I had it all cut down. And I was like, man, this thing's never going to get posted. It'll never see the light of day
It's
ever. I'll probably die and it'll be on a hard drive somewhere.
You're like, you motherfucker. It'll come out one day when someone goes, oh, look at what we found. You're like,
Yeah.
oh,
And like all this shit's happening, like the Exodus lead singer. So you're like, oh, this would be a good time to put it out, you know? Like they're
yeah.
in the news. But then like something fucking happens and it's,
Every
whatever.
every fucking time you're like, this is gonna be so good, and then it's like, hold on, not yet. Fuck.
Yeah. And I don't know. I just have so much fun doing it too. Like with Exodus, I like it so much. So I'm like, I don't like really want to listen to anything else. I think I think just streaming last year, I had 13,000 minutes of Exodus alone.
Oh shit.
So, like, and that was like, I went like several months without even listening to them. But and that doesn't count like vinyl or like the
Right.
shows or. So I was like, man, I don't know. I think I listened to them enough. I should probably know their catalog by now.
So my number one last year streaming was Queens of the Stone Age.
Oh wow.
I think they were like 12 or 13,000 minutes. Like I really, really fucking dig that band.
Yeah, I
Uh,
wouldn't have guessed that with you. I see Cannibal Corpse like
oh
behind
yeah.
you, and you're like, I wouldn't have guessed Queens of the Stone
I
Age.
I know how weird is it, but I like you, my tastes are kind of all over the place. It was like I can tell you my top five. It was Queens of the Stone Age, Blessed Black, Spotlights, Fairy Ring. No, hold on. Wasn't Fairy Ring. Oh, it was Fire Down Below.
I don't
And
know.
so they're a Belgian band.
I might know the wait. Maybe I do know them. I
They're
want to see
like
the album cover. Go ahead. I'm gonna look
they
up their album cover real quick.
do it. Yes, I don't remember the fifth one, but Fire Down Below was in there. So it's I mean it's a little bit different, I guess. Not really.
I think my top five. I had a local band that called Lost Psychonaut. Um, I had Darkest Hour. I had the New Gate Creeper. I had Temple of the Fuzz Witch. I don't remember what the fifth one was. I don't know.
Neither of us. Like we got four.
The other problem with me is like all these bands, like most of the bands that like I deal with are like overseas. I can't pronounce the name of the band or their album, and 95% of the time I don't know what the hell the lyrics are saying either. So like I'll try to like find their lyrics and then I copy it and put it into Chat GPT and say like, "Hey man, translate this to whatever language it is because I'm not sure."
Yeah.
It's like some of the countries like you'll think it's Spanish and they'll have like a different dialect of something. I don't know.
Yep. No, I dude, I know. And it's interviewing the guys, it gets really fucked up, like you're talking to them and they say something and you're like, in English, that's not what that means.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny, but
Yeah. Thankfully, I haven't had any real bad interviews yet. I've had one that was like a little hard with I can't remember what language he spoke, Swedish maybe. And like he was struggling with English a little. We made it through, but it could have
yeah,
been better. Yeah. But for the most part, like I've kind of lucked out. Even like that was my big concern because I don't speak real well English, let alone another language, you know?
right,
So
right.
like I can't pronounce shit. Like and most of the countries I'm in is like Portugal and like they all make fun of me and stuff, I'm sure, but I don't really care.
Nah, I don't think they do. I don't think they really give a fuck. They're like, you're giving
Yeah.
your time and your energy into something we care
Yeah.
about. So that's cool as fuck.
Yeah, I got thick skin. I always tell them like you want to make fun, do it. Just leave it in the comments, man. It'll
Yeah.
help me out.
Yeah. I don't fucking care. You're gonna talk shit anyway. Like, do it. Have at it.
You ain't gonna be worse than my wife and kids, I'll tell you that much. They
Oh,
they got their mouth from me. I guarantee you it's pretty rough.
oh yeah. I know. I used to talk to my kids now are like 18 and 20. So
Oh,
they're
okay.
they're at a point where we can go and do shit. But my wife, like I say fuck a lot.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm like, I really got to watch my mouth around the kids. Now, as they're getting older, like my daughter, she did real good until she turned 18. As soon as she turned 18, she's like, what the fuck? Fuck. And I'm like, oh, come on, kid. Like, I get it, but ah,
Yeah. I always tell them like this was my thing. I always tell them like the word isn't important. Like it's just the meaning. And that's with any word, like whether it's like love or hate or whatever. Like if you say fuck out of hate or fuck out of love, like I just want the meaning. I don't care
yeah,
about the word, you know?
yeah,
Like if you hate me, then I know like, yeah, all right, maybe we need to fucking figure this out, you know?
right. Yeah,
But I
yeah.
don't know.
Just don't hate me, please.
I'm more of like the child in the house than my two daughters. I got like a 10 and a 13-year-old. They're probably more adult than me. Like they actually have jobs and like they both act and like do ballet and stuff and so they're like more responsible than me too.
Oh shit.
It's okay. I can't be good at everything, right?
That's true. Yeah, nope. If it wasn't for my wife, I would be completely irresponsible, probably on a fucking corner somewhere, half dead.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I'd have been dead. I'd have been dead for sure. For
Yeah,
sure. 100%.
it's so fucking funny. So what shows do you have coming up?
I don't know. Me and the wife are still arguing about which ones I'm going to, but we're first. I think we're going to see George Lynch. Um, I don't know if you're into George Lynch.
Just a
And
little, not real big.
my neighbor, he like kind of helps me out with this a little bit, and he's a little older than me. I think he's in like I think he's like 57 or something. But he's into like the shredders. He can play and like he can really play. So like I do like George Lynch. So we're going to see him. I think I got that Meshuggah, Cannibal Corpse, Carcass. Somebody else is on that too.
I think it's just those three.
Okay. And then there's a Kill Switch Engage because they're coming with Kubla Khan, Texas.
And
And
Shadows Fall.
is that who's on there too?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're
I
only because it's only like 6 dates.
Yeah, the one because it's like Kubla Khan, Texas, Frozen Soul.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's not that might not be the fucking tour. Now I gotta look.
Because yeah, there's one because it came out. I saw Frozen Soul twice last year, and I was like, I'd like to see them again.
Yeah.
But I saw them; they were coming, and I was like, oh, that's cool. But it was like all I saw was Kubla Khan, Texas, and I was like, I'm fucking in. I love those guys.
Oh, dude, they're so fucking good. Okay. So it's yeah, that tour is a bigger tour. It's KSE, Kubla Khan, Fit for a King, and Frozen Soul.
Okay, Fit for a King was the other one.
Ah,
Yeah.
where's I was looking they're doing okay. Here's the other one. It's 6 dates. It's Kill Switch. Oh, looks like Shadows Fall, Fit for a King, and I can't make out the fourth band.
Why do fucking bands do that? That's my fucking pet peeve.
Well, this is not a band, it's the photo.
Oh,
It's
okay.
so like the photo is real fucking blurry, and I can only make out the other three because I'm familiar with them, you know?
Yeah. Dude, that drives me nuts when bands make logos I can't read. Like the what you trying not to get discovered, you know?
Like Sangwa Sugar Bog.
Yeah, and I feel like cattle decapitation, like those two I've seen enough that I'm like, all right, I know those squiggles. Like like
Yeah.
but some of the bands I look at, I'm like, who the fuck are you? I'm not going. I don't give a fuck how good you are. Fuck you and your terrible marketing.
Right.
But I'll still end up going anyway.
I end up going too, and I'm like, oh fuck. You know, that night, Louder Than Life, when they canceled this year, Slayer was headlining. We were
Yeah.
so looking forward to going to that show. We ended up going to see fucking Kubla Khan uh in this little tiny venue, dude. It was fucking a riot. Like there
They
were
put on a good show.
oh yeah, they're great, dude.
Yeah.
Look, they're gonna be on Headbangers Boat this year. That'll be fucking good.
Yeah. I saw it. There's like three of us up here that we like message each other, but I don't know. I'm always on my phone. So I like sent it to them and I was like, dude, you guys interested? But then they sent me back. What was the other show they wanted me to go to? It was like obituaries. I think they're playing their cause of death.
35th anniversary.
Yeah, and I can't remember who they're coming with, but I
They're
just saw obituary and I was like, I'm good. I'm in.
Obituary, Nails.
Yeah, Nails was on it. Terror.
Now I don't know. I don't think Terror's on that one.
I want to say Terror was on that, and there's a fourth band, I think.
Let's see.
I think I saw
Now
Obituary twice last year too.
you're right. It is. It's Terror, Spirit World, and Pest Control.
Spirit World, that's what it was. But I was like, I want to fucking yeah, I listened to Spirit World last night because of it. Yeah, I want to fucking I saw Obituary, but like I still think I have fog from the last show in my lungs. Like those dudes are like just such a great show.
For sure. Every fucking time. I'm like, it's funny. My wife is I always call her a hippie. Like she prefers singer-songwriter or Dave Matthews or Grateful Dead,
Sure.
so like she met me and I'm like, hey, I need you to know, like I just go to a lot of fucking shows and they're heavy. And she's like, okay, whatever. She started going to shows with me and she goes, most of them I don't really care for the music, but I love seeing you like happy and in your place. And I'm like, that's cool. So uh we went to this festival in Michigan. It was a 1 day fest called Brews, like Brews and Brews.
Okay.
And Goat Whore headlined and Battlecross was playing. and Battlecross are like they're like an extension of the family, you know. Fucking we go to Michigan just to hang out with them, whatever. So Goat takes the stage, and I was like, "Come on, Jen, we're gonna fucking go up and watch Goat like, and we're gonna be right on the rail." And she's like, "Okay." So we fucking go up there and we leave, and she goes, "Oh my God, they're so fucking good." I'm like, "Hell yeah, they are. I fucking love those dudes."
Mine stopped coming with me. She would go to some punk shows with me, but then she bailed. She was like, "This isn't for me." I kept getting harder and harder because like I can only do so much pop punk to like keep you happy, you know?
Yeah,
Like so
yeah,
she didn't come to like Behemoth or anything with me. Like it wasn't for her.
love
But
Behemoth though. Like they're good. That's another band that's just good live every time you see them.
I
You
only
know,
seen them once, but they were good. I'll give it to them.
they're consistent. Like Lamb of God. You know, when you go to a Lamb of God show, you know they're going to put on a great show every fucking time.
Yeah. Yeah. I've never seen a bad show by them.
No, me
I don't think
neither.
anyone has.
Uh-uh.
Well, hey
No,
man, I hate to cut this short, but I gotta wrap this up.
you're good, dude.
Pick up my kid.
Hell yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming to hang out and talk music. Don't fucking choke yourself to death.
Dude, I talk a lot, obviously, and I had like a fucking cough drop in. These cough drops, I don't know what the hell they are, but they have this like shit, this Ricola. It's like this fucking gel inside, but it keeps me clear, man. But
Dude, Werther's.
I got 2 more years, man. No.
Well, well, go get to it, dude. Have a great night and fucking let's stay in touch
Yeah, dude, we should do this again.
for sure.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
definitely, dude.
All
Thanks for
right,
reaching
dude.
out, man. It's been awesome, dude.
Hell yeah. Have a
We should
great
do this
night, dude.
again, man.
We will for sure.
All right, man. Thanks.
Later.